to hear that reselling YouTubers have ruined the business and the market one more time, I might just delete this YouTube channel. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Saturday, January 20th, 2024. And this is a comment I've been responding to for probably the better part of a decade. Definitely the 7 or 8 years I've been here on YouTube and longer. So a lot of people out in the world and out in the community, I know it's a lot of trolls. I know I shouldn't give them any breath of air. But they claim that people like me who make YouTube videos about reselling, about flipping, have ruined the business, ruined the market, and have educated Goodwill and thrift stores, have educated the general public to charge more at garage sales, all this sort of stuff that is just factually wrong. It's incorrect, and the numbers and the facts back that up. So let me explain. Goodwill, let me start with Goodwill and Salvation Army. They have had eBay stores for the better part of 20 years. Literally, the last time I checked, the oldest Goodwill store I could find on Goodwill, or on eBay rather, was from like 2002, 2003, the infancy of eBay. They have been selling on eBay longer than I have been selling full-time, period. They've been selling longer than pretty much everyone that's watching this video, with an exception of a few of you. I'm sure there's a few of you more than 20 years. Leave it down in the comments section how long you've been on eBay or how long you've been reselling. They don't need us. They don't need people on YouTube or anywhere else to tell them how to go to eBay and look up the price of something, right? They're fully capable, and they do. They do it every day, and they do it in their stores, with or without YouTube. Whether or not my channel existed, or Rally Roots, or Chaz and Trista, or anybody else existed, they're going to look stuff up on eBay, and they're going to sell it themselves on their online stores or however, or they're going to market accordingly in the stores. That's just the nature of business, right? They don't need someone to educate them. Second point is that as long as all these YouTube channels have been out, even if YouTube went away tomorrow, if there's no such thing as YouTube tomorrow, there is still Instagram and Facebook groups and Twitter and now TikTok and all these. There used to be Snapchat and Vine. All these social media platforms, it's not one platform, right? It's not one thing that drives education or learning or online visibility. It's a ton of platforms. There's blog posting. There's so many ways to exchange information and share and word of mouth that it's not YouTube that ruins a market. It's nothing that ruins the market. It's the natural progression of sharing ideas and sharing information. So that's number 2. Number 3, and I think this one's super important, is that as long as people have been reselling, even before the days of social media and even before the days of eBay, they had to have ways to figure out what stuff was worth, right? People sold at flea markets and swap meets, and there were websites. Way back in the day, I used a direct peer-to-peer website to buy and sell on, or, you know, sending emails or sending out flyers. Think about people that bought and sold stuff in the old days when they sent out magazines. There's always a way to exchange the information of what is selling and how much money it is worth. So whether it be through magazines and mail orders, or through blog posts or peer-to-peer forums or whatever, or the instant transactional speed of YouTube or a TikTok video, people are going to find a way to share this information and to learn it. And that brings me to point number 4, which is this fancy thing I'm recording on for you guys right now, an iPhone, smartphone device. That is what drove Goodwill and Salvation Army and other people that you see at estate sales and garage sales with their little paper out there saying this sells on eBay for $8,000. This is what drove that increase and that you know, kind of, I call it renaissance of pricing and selling. It's not because we're capable of making YouTube videos or TikTok videos or that we're even here doing it. It's that every single person in this country, at least in America, and most people and across the world just about, have access to this little 6-inch thing in your pocket called a smartphone, where you can instantly access this information and look it up. You don't have to go to YouTube. When you go into a selling or into a thrift store and you're looking to sell, what's the first thing you do? You go to eBay, you go to Amazon, you look up the prices. What is the first thing these thrift stores do in these estate sales? They go to eBay, they go to Amazon, they look up what stuff is worth. They're not going to YouTube to see if Casey made a video about Tommy Bahama shirts last week to see what they're worth. They're going to go look it up on their own. They don't need me. And if they didn't know that a brand was good and they're like, oh, I saw it on Casey's video, this brings me to point number 5. There's people claiming that these managers are just sitting around watching videos all day and making lists of brands and putting them out in the store. I don't think that that's the case. I mean, literally, can you imagine a manager at one of the Goodwill regions, remember they're all split in regions, or any one employee sitting down and watching hours and hours of videos, not knowing what videos to watch or where to watch it, what brands they're going to hear about, making lists, taking that list back to the store, telling all the employees about those brands, because that one person can't monitor the hundreds of thousands of pieces of clothes coming through the store, and telling them to pull any of these brands apart and then putting all those brands up for sale and then do it. This seems asinine to me. It seems absolutely ridiculous that, maybe there's somebody that does that at a thrift store. Maybe somebody owns a mom and pop store and they're actively searching out bolos. Maybe there's a Goodwill manager. Perhaps it happens from time to time. It's not happening on a grand scale. The reason that Goodwill is pricing the way they do is corporate. Corporate makes those pricing structures. When you walk in and you see $3.99, $4.99, $5.99, $6.99, it's not the employee making $15 an hour who's making those prices up. It's his managers, his bosses, his corporate people who are telling him to price this way. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because I'm sure there's going to be some people in my chat that are like, I'm a Goodwill manager and we definitely pulled True Religion jeans to the side. I'm sure you did. I'm sure there's places where people, pull things out because they know they're valuable, whether they saw it on YouTube or not. Everyone knows True Religion or Prada or Gucci or Versace or Louis Vuitton are all valuable, high-name stuff, and so they're going to pull that stuff out. It's just common sense, right? It doesn't take a YouTube video to show you that. It seems ridiculous to me that the greater amount of people out in this community would blame social media and YouTube for ruining their business. Which brings me to point number 6. If I was ruining the market, I literally tell everyone what I buy and sell, yet here I am still buying and selling a decade later on YouTube/eBay and 18 years later total. It's just counterintuitive. You're blaming me for ruining my own market, yet here I am selling in my own market. I just don't get it. Like, people always just want something to bitch about and complain about. Point number 7. If you're having trouble in your current market, there's room for everybody. You need to find better stuff. You need to find better sources. It's not an us problem, because there's plenty of people buying and selling. So clearly the market's not ruined. Clearly there's room for you to buy and sell. You're just not doing it correctly or well enough or properly. If you're failing, don't blame other people for your failures. Take responsibility for your own actions. That's just, again, common sense, I would think, but apparently not. And number 8, this brings me to point number 8, which is fantastic. I give you guys literally everywhere that I buy my inventory, my bulk inventory, I give you everything short of the guy's phone number, or the plural guys that I buy from, phone numbers. Clearly, I'm not going to do that. But I've told you exactly how I found every single one of my sources. I just made the video yesterday. I'll link it below. If you can't take that information and parlay it into your own sources, you don't need my sources. They're probably not even the best sources. They're probably just average. I get a decent amount of stuff from them. There's probably much better people that do what my guys do that can sell you much better stuff. Better than remotes, better than postcards, better than clothes. There's tons of stuff out there to source. You don't need my contacts. And even if you had my contacts, they probably wouldn't do business with you because they love me and they've done business with me for so long. But even if you did take my contacts from me and steal my contacts, there's hundreds more I can make phone calls to, and I'd have just as many lined up in a week as I do right now. I choose not to because I simply can't handle that much stuff. It's nuts. But it just goes to show you that there is plenty of sources and there's plenty of opportunity, and a YouTube video or social media people or all this content being produced and put out is not ruining the market. And here's the final point. If it was ruining the market, the content would stop because there'd be nobody left to buy and sell the merchandise and make the content of them buying and selling the merchandise, because the market would be ruined. The content would eventually just come to an end. Clearly that's not happening. So clearly there's tons of deals out there and the market is just fine. So the next time you find yourself behind a computer screen wanting to comment on somebody's video or social media, or you see it in another social media content saying, these YouTubers, these TikTokers, these Instagrammers, they just ruined reselling, they ruined everything. Leave a nice comment that says, market's not ruined, we're all doing just fine. It's probably you and your business model that's ruined. It's just my 2 cents, guys. I'm just throwing in my 2 cents. Curious what you think about it. Leave it down in the comments section as always. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the weekend. Enjoy it. Go Ravens. Ravens and Texans at 4:30. It's a little past 4 right now, so I'm going to go get this video up and settle in for the football game. As always, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Giving it a big thumbs up. Turning it blue helps the algorithm, and subscribing to the channel. My listing service, ProEcommercelister, is on sale all weekend long. $1.25 per listing credit, and the credits never expire. Let us do all your listing work for you. We will grow your store, grow your sales. All of our clients are having amazing results. I have all those screenshots and reviews if you'd like to see them. If you have more questions, rockstarflipper@gmail.com, or I'll link the website below that you can go onto and buy your listing credits and get started with us. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time.